Well, Steve, I'm looking forward to this. I think what's interesting in speaking to superintendents is really sort of peeling the layers back on the personalities that are driving districts around the U.S. and how that's continuing to evolve and grow. How have you seen the superintendency change, just in your educational career as well, where it's becoming more personal, more about engagement in the community? How has that changed for you?
Yeah, I think the superintendency requires a future-focused leader that understands community and public engagement. Frankly, we have to be storytellers in chief. We've got to craft a hopeful narrative about public education in this country, and frankly, a hopeful narrative for children in families locally.
And how do you then weave in, I love that from the storytelling perspective. I had not heard that before. How do you also then weave in the realities as well so that the authenticity of district leadership can come across to communities who are less than bought in when they just read press headlines that either are or are not representative of really what's going on in districts?
Yeah. Our responsibility is to cultivate hope, opportunity, and build agency in children and families. And frankly, that's about a community schools approach for supporting student success and student learning. And frankly, you've got to walk the talk. You've got to lead from the heart. We have to manage from the head also.
And not from a press release is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
It's about a positive, visible presence in schools, in classrooms, in the community. I've got a vested interest in the success of every child in Vancouver Public Schools.
Let's talk about some of the challenges that are facing superintendents and districts around the country. And obviously, funding and budgets play a role in that. But what I think is a silver lining is that we're seeing a lot of progressive approaches to creating opportunities from a funding perspective that open up the doors to the private sector, to corporate America to play a different role maybe than they've played before. How do you see that playing out, not just now, but as we move forward?
Yeah, I think public-private partnerships are an important component as we think about a whole system strategy for transforming outcomes for children in public schools in America. I also believe that there are entrepreneurial and innovative approaches for thinking about the kinds of partnerships that streamline and align resources in service of kids and families. For example, in Vancouver Public Schools, we've scaled family community resource centers, a community schools model in 18 poverty-impacted schools. For every dollar that the district invests in staffing supports, we net $4 in return on that investment. Now, I wish my retirement portfolio would compound
right.
like that. But frankly, this is about mission-focused work. So we have a robust set of partnerships, for example, with our faith community, NGOs, our business community, all committed to building assets in children and families. So this is an economic development strategy, quite frankly.
What issue out there or what topic are you focused on in your contemporaries that we may not know or hear about that will help to craft the future path of education? Are there things that are being discussed that we don't really share that you sort of see in your position that, okay, this is the next step that we are already planning for behind the scenes?
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's an area that public schools aren't paying attention to in terms of being future focused. I think there's a shift that's happening. Clearly, a digital transformation is playing out in public schools today. And frankly, we need to ensure that each of our graduates are future ready. And this is about making sure that they have access and demonstrated mastery of 21st century skills, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity, and citizenship in such a way that will enable them to be successful in whatever pathway they choose upon graduation.
Let's close with this. If you're looking across other professionals in education, teachers, building leaders, what is it that you notice in them that says to you, that individual could be a superintendent? And are we doing a good job of identifying the next group, the next talented group of individuals to help lead our districts?
I think there are two factors that play into tapping into future leaders. One is understanding the importance of culture. Strategy is important, but relationships are more important. Someone who has the kind of interpersonal and relationship skills and actually can engender that deliberately across the system, that will set that person up for success. And if you can do that as a principal, you can do that in a central office role. And if you can do that in a central office role, you can do it in the superintendency.
Yeah, regardless of what's going on, right? I mean, those basic skills.
Regardless
will allow,
of what's happening. I think the second skill set is someone who is strategic and future focused. Someone that can push the organization forward, simultaneously building a shared consensus around a vision, and then, frankly, cultivating what we talk about as ubiquitous leadership in a school system, right? This work is too complex for one person in the corner office to drive alone. That's why stories matter.
That's why stories matter.
That's why stories matter, because you can inspire people to act with focus and coherency through story to advance a strategic vision on behalf of children and families and give permission for people to do so.